Good morning, and this is a recording for English Foundations for it's April 16th. So this date's wrong. I made this PowerPoint on April 12th. So this is for April 16th, English Foundations. Today we're going to look ahead. We're going to do a bell ringer about commas. We're going to start working our constructed response using the RACES strategy. Get started on that today, and we'll work on it together in class on Wednesday. And then I'll give you your ticket out the door. But looking ahead, we have our RACES assignment. Today, you're going to work on a constructed response that I'm about to show you. Then you're going to do, on Wednesday, we're going to continue working on the constructed response, work on our reading fluency that's due, and do some SRA Flex. But what assignments do we have right now? Everyone started working on their reading fluency assignment last week. We also have SRA Flex grade going in on Friday, and then we have our RACES writing assignment that's coming out today. But let's get busy. I'm going to save this commas review for Wednesday when we're back in class together, but we're going to read these sentences and add commas wherever they're necessary. I'm going to save that for when we're together because I want to talk about those in person. But we're doing our assignment together. You can start on it today. We're using the restate, answer, cite, explain, sum it up. We're going to read a story called Follow That Horse, and then I'm going to ask you the question. And it's important when you're reading, if you know you have to respond to something you read, a good idea is to go and read the question first. So after we read the story, you're required. You're going to explain how information in the article shows how Cuddles changed Dan's life. In your response, use information from the article that supports your answer. So we're going to be explaining how information in the article shows how Cuddles changed Dan's life. So as I'm reading, we're thinking about how does Cuddles change Dan's life, because that's how the constructed response is requiring us to do. So I'll read this story. Follow That Horse. Cuddles is on the job. Her owner, Dan Shaw, grips the handle of her harness. He says, "Take a walk," and the pair starts off. Because he is blind, Dan can't see the road ahead, but he knows he's safe with Cuddles. Cuddles is one of only a few trained guide horses for blind people. Cuddles, a chestnut miniature horse, stands knee-high next to Dan. At 26 inches tall and 80 pounds, she's the size of a large dog. Since Cuddles is compact, rides elevators, fits under restaurant tables, and flies with Dan on an airplane, Cuddles is also housebroken. A horse that isn't housebroken cannot be a guide horse. People expect to see a guide dog leading a blind person, but a guide horse is something new. Wherever she goes, Cuddles wears 4 tiny sneakers. At first, the sneakers must have felt strange. Cuddles lifted her hooves high and tried to step out of them. Now she wears sneakers everywhere. They protect her hooves from being hurt by broken glass or hot pavement and from slipping on polished floors. Cuddles is the first miniature horse to guide a blind owner. Janet and Don Burleson trained Cuddles at the Guided Horse Foundation in Kittrell, North Carolina. The Burlesons wanted to offer another choice to blind people who are allergic or afraid of dogs. Dan feels more comfortable being guided by a horse. "I've loved horses all my life. I'm proud to walk down the street with a horse," he said. Cuddles learned 23 different commands during her training. Like guide horses learn commands such as forward, right, left, as well as requests such as find the door. Cuddles also learned to spook in place, to stand still instead of running away when something frightens her. "I'm proud to walk down the street with a horse," Dan said. To keep Dan safe, Cuddles was taught to decide when to obey. If Dan commands her to cross the street when a car is coming, Cuddles won't cross. Cuddles saved Dan from danger recently when a bike raced into his path. She quickly stepped between him and the bicycle. "She makes sure I'm safe," Dan says. Cuddles has been guiding Dan since May 2001. Now he wouldn't be without her. Dan says, "The best thing about Cuddles is the freedom and independence she gives me. She's brought a lot of happiness to my life." So now we're going to explain how information from that article shows how Cuddles changed Dan's life. In your response, use information from the article that supports your explanation. So your assignment is you can find in our classroom. A direct link to it is going to be here. Constructed response turn-in. Follow that horse. It's going to be a Word document you fill out. Well, I guess that would be where y'all turn it in. But your link will look different. You'll see the directions. But if you go to I6 Week 2, there's the turn-in. You're going to read the passage. There's a link to the passage, and you're going to fill out this graphic organizer. Hopefully it'll be a little easier to open for y'all than it is for me right now. You're going to fill in, after you read the story, fill in the graphic organizer. For a race, we've talked about all this, so I'm not going to explain the races strategy. We've talked about that for 2 weeks. But in R, you're going to restate the question. The question is, explain how information shows how Cuddles changed Dan's life. That'll start off with Cuddles. We're restating it, so we're putting this question into our own words. It's going to be 1 to 2 sentences. Cuddles changed Dan's life in many ways. There's an example of something you could put. You could use 1 to 2 sentences. And then you're going to answer the question. Cuddles changed Dan's life by, leading him around because Dan was blind. For example, then you're going to go back to the article and find ways that Cuddles changed Dan's life. Specific. Cuddles follows commands like stop, go, right, left, and is able to find the door and the exit in places. Cuddles will not walk across the street if there's a car coming. Cuddles saved Dan by stopping a bike from hitting him. Things like that. Go straight from the text. 2 to 3 sentences there. Explain how the example supports your answer. Explain how everything you just wrote backs up your answer. This explains how Cuddles changed Dan's life. All right? Easy, easy. Turn that in. I'll look at it on Wednesday. You can also find this PowerPoint here. You can find our Ticking Out the Door, which is the password is horse. You can also find a link to all of our assignments that are due here. And I will see you guys on Wednesday back for live class where we will continue working on this and talk about commas.